Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Raging Fury 55, and today we'll be going over social networks and networking on YouTube. Although these two topics are slightly different, they have many things in common. By learning the both of them, I think it'll be more beneficial for you, the audience. Although creating good content is important, networking could be seen as important as the videos on your channel. Networking allows creators to help accelerate the growth of their channels and be given ideas and opportunities that would have never been available to them. Alright, first of all, before we learn about YouTube networking, let's first dive into what a social network is. Before we can discuss how to network properly, we must go over some base terms that affect networking. First, let's define what a social network is. A social network is a system of interconnected social actors are people. Every person is part of a social network, and the goal is to get as close as we can to the center of a social network. Now, you might be asking, how do we get to the center of this social network? The location of your spot in a social network is influenced by three things: spatial proximity, the homophilia effect, and social proximity. Spatial proximity states that you will develop relationships and be influenced by people who are physically near you. For example, let's say you live in a dorm. The spatial proximity effect states that in this situation, people who live in the dorm room next to you are more likely to influence you and develop relationships with you rather than the people who live 3 dorm rooms away from you. The homophilia effect states that people form ties with people who are similar to themselves in socially significant ways. This is why the people who are close to us usually have things in common with us. For example, if you play the video game Halo a lot, you're more likely to form relationships with other people who also play Halo. Social proximity is similar to spatial proximity, except that it states how individuals will form relationships and be influenced by people who are around them socially, such as friend groups. Now, what does all this mean? All of these influencers of your social network are the equivalent of a hand you're dealt in a game of cards. No matter how good your hand is, if you're a terrible player, you will lose a match. This is why we must be good at networking in order to play with a hand we're given well. Moving from this reference, remember that all of these people in your social network give you a certain amount of power. The better your social network is, the more power you have. Power allows individuals to accomplish desired outcomes. To more accurately figure out the amount of power you have, you must look at a variety of factors. The first factor is centrality. The more central you are in a social network, the more information you have, which leads to more power. Centrality is influenced by degree, betweenness, and closeness. The degree is the number of people you're tied to. There are 2 different types of ties: direct ties and indirect ties. Direct ties are people you know directly, and indirect ties are knowing someone who knows someone. Betweenness is how often you are the shortest path between 2 people. Betweenness is extremely important because if you're the bridge between 2 people or 2 groups, it makes you more powerful. By being a link, you're filling a structural hole, monopolizing power with no other individual being able to possess that power. Finally, there is closeness, which states how easily you can reach every other actor in the system. Now, let's move on to networking on YouTube. After looking at your network, you must strategically work with certain individuals in your social network during certain moments to maximize your power. The issue most people have when trying to network is only working with individuals who are extremely similar to them or with people who have strong ties to them. If you have a strong tie with someone, it means that the 2 of you have similar interests, attitudes, and most likely interact frequently. Although this is beneficial to have fun and doing other recreational activities, it's not the most effective way to grow a channel and solely work with these people. Let's say, for example, you want to generate new ideas for videos on your channel. It would be much more beneficial to work with people who you have weak ties with. If you have a weak tie with someone, it means that you guys are not similar, don't know each other well, and rarely interact. Although this seems like a bad idea at first, it's great to generate new ideas for your channel. Since you guys are different, there'll be more creative abrasion. This is where people have different opinions on a subject, and from that, they're able to gain different perspectives and gain knowledge. So if you're trying to generate new ideas for videos, working with a significantly different person will be extremely productive. How do you find these people that you have a weak or indirect ties with? Just think of people who you're close with and slowly move out and think of who could be beneficial for your channel. This is why being at a center of a social network is crucial. The more center you are in a social network, the more people you can access. For example, recently, I started talking to a guy named Liam Clearly on YouTube recently. Although we are significantly different, working with him has been extremely beneficial. Since we have different ways of editing videos and have different ideas, we're able to both learn and develop more. If I worked instead with someone I have a very strong tie with, like Shizno, a close friend of mine, there's no way I would have learned as much, for we edit and think too similarly. Indirect ties are statistically the way most people grow the most in general, so don't be shy and start working with people outside your comfort zone. Okay, let's say you're not close to the center of a social network. You can still change that. If you don't know someone, don't be afraid to talk to them or just meet random people. Although this seems difficult, you must do this in order to move closer to the center of a social network. For example, leave comments on other people's channels saying how you like something they did in order to start a conversation and develop a relationship. Okay, now let's talk about attempting to communicate with bigger channels. Now, let's say you really want to talk to someone you really think could help your channel. Although having an indirect tie helps, it's not required. Whenever you need help from a bigger channel, always ask for their advice, for most channels will happily help you with that. Advice from an expert is crucial to gain different perspectives on how to grow your channel and make your videos. It also helps develop a bond between you and the channel who provided you with advice. Additionally, finding common ground with the channel you are asking for advice from as well is also helpful to create a meaningful relationship. This may seem easy, but many small channels like to immediately ask for a shout out. This is a bad idea because it usually does not work and you don't really gain any knowledge from a shout out, even if they give you a shout out. However, if you ask for advice and perhaps over time work your way to collabs and other things such as that, a bigger channel is more likely to help you. And of course, you also gain more knowledge by doing this route. Now, let's wrap up some final details about networking. Now, you may feel guilty about networking. However, if you simply reframe networking and do it correctly, it helps everyone in general. For example, reframe networking as making connections. Have a relational mindset and approach every interaction as an opportunity to connect, share, give, and learn. Next, reframe networking as knowledge sharing. Give back to others by sharing what you know about your skills on YouTube. Find ways to teach, inspire, care for, and give back. Finally, reframe networking as help seeking. This is expanding on the point of how smaller channels should ask for advice from bigger channels. Remember to pair your request with a thoughtful offer, and emphasize why it's meaningful for you and how his advice will make a difference for you. Remember to start off with a small request and work your way up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video about networking and the social network. If you like these organizational behavior videos, please let me know because I really enjoy making this video. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace out.